Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, everybody. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bulan Bintang Cahaya Nirwana, and there will be my friend Revakara Hendra, and we want to tell about final exam cross-cultural understanding from our class. We want to share about the topic is stereotype. First, what is stereotype? Stereotype, there is easiest way to explain what a stereotype is an assumption about someone based on previous experience or belief. I've left unchecked stereotypes can really lead to discriminatory attitudes. Stereotypes are often unfounded and lead to negative things about a particular head, individual, or group. Prejudice is what ultimately greatly influences how a person believes and interacts. Okay, and then there is types of stereotypes. Common types of stereotype include gender, race, sexual, social class, disability, age, nationality, political, and religious stereotype. And the first, gender stereotype. A gender stereotype is an oversimplified perception of someone based on their gender or sexuality. This involves making assumptions about what a man or woman can and cannot do or should and shouldn't do. Gender stereotypes have been one of the most insidious types of stereotype throughout history. Up until the early 20th century, many women weren't allowed to vote or participate in many professions due to limiting beliefs about their ability to participate in public life. Today, gender prejudice continues to be harm both men and women. Often, women are rejected for jobs because of fears they might quit to have a baby, or a female doctor is instantly perceived to be a nurse by patients due to workplace stereotype ingrained in society. And then there is number two, race and ethnicity stereotype. An ethnic or racial stereotype is prejudgment about people based on their race. There is black, white, Asian, Persian, Chinese, or many more. A society creates archetypal ideas about people based on their race, which can follow them throughout their lives at times in history. Western society wrongly saw white people as a more intelligent race and created insidious and untrue stereotypes about the violent black man. Similarly, many older conservative parents may, may want their child to marry someone of the same race as them. The prejudice can get in the way of people experiencing true love and happiness. It's a related social identity example. And number three, there is sexuality stereotypes. Many people continue to hold prejudice against people based on their sexual orientation. This leads to harsh discrimination against LGBT, and recent decades have seen some great progress for the LGBT community. Even in the 1980s, gay men were seen as dirty due to moral panic about the AIDS epidemic. Today, gay and trans people continue to face prejudice based on assumptions about their identities. And then there is number 4, social class stereotypes. Stereotypes about working class people have followed them through the centuries, which can prevent them from getting good job or access to welfare. Working class people have long been seen by wealthier classes are dirty, uneducated, and violent. A person with a working class accent may therefore be marked down in job interview, not for their aptitude, but simply for their accent. But there are even stereotypes about wealthier people. And then number 5, there is a disability stereotypes. People with disability were long excluded from social participation. For example, someone with speaking difficulties or who is missing hand might be considered unable to do a job that in reality they are perfectly capable of executing. And then number 6, X stereotype. Xism is a stereotype that assumes older people are incapable and losing intelligence. Or similarly, young people is incapable poorly to do their age. Each vision stereotypes can include seeing an older person as unable to understand modern cultural mores or assuming they are incapable of performing physical tasks. And then number 7, there is nationality stereotype. When you make a statement like people from England are, you're probably perceiving is a stereotype. Here you will be making an assumption about all people from a nation that can be damaging to individuals from that nation who don't fit into the stereotypical mold. For example, you might say people from France are arrogant or people from America are rude, and then people from South Africa are racist, and people from China are smart. Such bases often come from old tropes that have been spread and perpetuated through social media and folklore. By basing a whole group of people based on a simplistic idea. And then number 8, there is a political stereotype. A political stereotype is created when we retreat into our political tribes and paint people with different political views in the worst possible light. Unfortunately, this is extremely widespread in the United States right now. Folk news creates stereotype of liberals as sexuality deviant, corrupt, and atheist. Left-wing media paints conservative as racist, homophobic, and even fascistic. And then the last, number 9, there is a religious stereotype. A religious stereotype can create fear of religious group that you don't belong to. It can involve othering people of a certain religion, such as Islam or Judaism. In the early 20s, anti-Muslim stereotypes were extended a significant subset of people in the United States saw Muslims as terrorists, despite the fact that historically most United States terrorism was committed by right-wing extremists, not Muslims. Okay, that's all for me. There will be continued by my friend Refaka Rahendra.
How do stereotypes arise? The emergence of this kind of thinking comes from the way humans process the information around them. To process what is happening around them, humans put them in several categories. coupled with life experience, narrative from other people, and also belief will strengthen this assumption. Everyone will get a generalized label simply because they belong to a certain group. Moreover, there is not so much information that needs to be disguised through logical, rational, and based on certain methods. Being able to digest information quickly is a good thing, but it is very likely to cause misunderstanding. As a result, this is the origin of stereotypes, which is inevitable. In fact, an article in Current Direction in Psychological Science mentioned that stereotypes are a basic psychological need when a person feels uncomfortable with ambiguous situation around him. Next slide. How to reduce stereotypes. Given what is stereotype is the result of a mindset that is difficult to avoid, it is necessary to practice empathy from different people. Assume that differences are commonplace. In this way, one can understand others better. In addition, some technique can be used to reduce stereotypes are 1. Seek support and build awareness to reject stereotypes. 2. Increase contact with members of other social groups. 3. Making others aware of the possibility that principles can change. 4. Strive for laws and regulations to apply justice to all human groups. Conclusion. Stereotypes can be harmful to everyone. They rely on prejudice and biases that see people not as unique and complex individuals, but instead as the worst version of a social trope about a group of people. Stereotype can be classified into at least 9 types of stereotypes which have persisted throughout the generation. Thank you. This all for group 7. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.